Humanity was the punchline of the cosmos, a cosmic jest whispered across the stars. They were stunted, homely little creatures, unimpressive in every measurable way. Their gestation period stretched on far too long to overwhelm with numbers like some ravenous swarm. No razor-sharp claws adorned their hands. No armored shells shielded their soft flesh. No vile poisons dripped from their fangs, for they had none. Even their intellects, the crown jewel they polished with such pride, were merely average when weighed against the grand tapestry of galactic races. Their crude inventions paled beside the technological symphonies of the Kurt Uthla, the ruthless efficiency of the Turturther, or the breathtaking beauty woven by the Abfuri. So we, the collective galactic community, chuckled at their expense. When they clawed their way to post-FTL status, we tossed them the basic communication devices every fledgling race receives, like handing a toddler a rattle, and left them to fumble in the dark. We delivered the standard warning: cross us, meddle in our affairs, and we'll erase you from existence. They shrugged, muttered some cryptic nonsense about mad, and trundled off on their quaint little path. We didn't bat an eye. An infinite universe meant infinite room, and their expansion barely registered on our radars. Soon, we assumed they'd grow bored like the rest of us, pick some trivial niche to obsess over, and fade into obscurity, just as every race before them had done. Had we deigned to crack open their history, we'd have seen the ember glowing beneath their unremarkable surface, an ember that should have prompted us to snuff them out before they ever left the Sol system. No other race grasped the concept of tenacity. While we soared to dominance on worlds that bent to our will, humans wrestled with theirs from the moment they stumbled down from the trees. Where we saw our environments as toys to master, they saw a relentless adversary to outlast. They had no innate gifts to boast of, save one: they never, ever surrendered. They'd chase prey across endless plains, too slow to catch it, until the beast collapsed in exhaustion, its will broken before its body. That was their edge grit, forged in the crucible of struggle. Our cultures revered ease, efficiency, and splendor. Theirs spat on excess. Hedonism to them was a mark of frailty, a paradox we couldn't unravel. Their heroes weren't the flawless victors we idolized, but battered souls who dared the impossible, lone figures facing armies, mythical beasts, or kin twisted by the very efficiency we prized, wielding powers meant for gods. Their religions groveled before incomprehensible deities, reveling in their own helplessness. Their horror tales didn't mourn lost strength as ours did, but trembled before foes even more stubborn than themselves, monsters that outlasted, outfought, outlived. Their J-Suns and vampires were just humans, unshackled, limitless in their defiance. While our media crowed about our superiority over imagined aliens, humans cast themselves as weak, sniveling wretches who scraped by on the last bullet in the chamber or the final breath in their lungs. I spent years poring over their art, their stories, until I asked one why they wallowed in such frailty. He fixed me with a look my sensors flagged as condescension and said, "If we win too fast, there's no tension." I offered him my lightning reflexes, my towering claws. He laughed a dry, bitter sound. "Power corrupts," he replied, and turned away. We were fools, perched smugly on our peaks, when they arrived. A shadow alliance from beyond our charts, built on conquest and wrath, they were our antithesis, our peaceful federation's dark reflection. Their fangs cut deeper, their minds raced sharper, their sinews flexed harder. We were outmatched, reduced to the weaker side for the first time. The 22nd War, our generals called it, because that's how long it took to decide resistance was pointless. We'd lose either way, why not savor the end? So we feasted, drowning in decadence as race after race winked out. Humans didn't join us. While we stuffed ourselves, they sharpened blades. While our council dissolved, they scavenged enemy wrecks, ships felled by their own allies' errant fire. While we retreated, clutching our luxuries, they dug in, carving a jagged line across their empire. They seized our old weapons, relics from petty squabbles with neighbors. One stood out, an EMP on steroids, they dubbed it. It crippled all technology ours, theirs dope. Everyone's leaving only primitive kinetic arms. A flaw we'd never fixed. It struck friend and foe alike, hurling us all back to pre-FTL days. To us, it was suicide. To them, it was a chance. They didn't flinch. The hulking beasts of Ursotholess tore through their ranks, armored hides shrugging off blows, yet humans answered with metal slugs and guttural roars. Outgunned, outmaneuvered, they fought for every scrap of dirt, every hill, every breath. Commanders bellowed, "Hold the goddamn line," as trillions fell not in defeat, but in what they later shrugged off as routine acts of war heroism. The enemy crept forward, relentless, swallowing human worlds one by one. At last, they reached Earth, their cradle, their bastion, the final ember of their fight. We'd long since fled, but we watched, mesmerized, as the enemy's cold, metallic voice echoed through their capital. "Humans, you have proven your worth. Lay down your arms and serve. Your courage is adequate." Silence gripped the planet. The toll was staggering. Humans had gutted over half the enemy's races, a feat that left us seething with envy. These bald, monkey-like upstarts had earned what we couldn't, and it stung. The response crackled back, "No, we find your courage lacking." Then darkness. Not the fading whine of their EMP, but a deafening roar. Earth erupted a cataclysmic blast, their crown jewel turned to ash. They'd rigged their paradise to detonate, refusing servitude, taking the enemy's heart with it. The shockwaves scorched even our distant havens, a testament to a sacrifice we couldn't fathom. Only scattered colonies survived, tucked beyond our retreat lines. Yet their comms buzzed with triumph. It worked, they shouted. We killed them all. We stared, dumbfounded, as trillions of lights flared colonies we'd never noticed, silent under strict orders until victory was sure. They'd carved their niche, a phoenix, rising from ruin, enduring beyond our wildest reckoning. A comm pierced the silence, aimed at our High King. A human voice, firm in our tongue. "I am Eric Valtor, leader of the United Space Colonies of Humanity. In the 23 minutes you gaped at our home's ashes, we judged you." The king had no words. "Your niches, your brilliance, your strength, we find them hollow. You settle for short, shallow lives. We aim higher." Fear rippled through us. "Friend or foe?" "Yes, we've judged you," Eric continued. "The smarter, the stronger we find you lacking." We braced for war's drumbeat. "We could crush your timid souls alongside them," he said, "but you're not worth the effort." Humans were the laughingstock of the universe. Once, now their ember burned a challenge not to conquer, but to endure.